Good day everyone. We are the group 2 and our topic would be all about Erik Erikson's Psychosocial Development Stage 2, which is Muscular Anal Stage. Definition of Muscular Anal Stage. The second stage is called Muscular Anal and defined by the conflict between autonomy and shame and doubt. Parents who allow their toddlers between the ages of about 1 to 3 to explore their surroundings and develop interests of their own help to foster a sense of autonomy. The muscular anal stage starts in the late infancy and toddlerhood and parallels fruit's anal stage. During this stage, children develop a variety of physical and mental abilities such as they learn to communicate more effectively. They can walk, climb, push, pull, and hold on an object or let it go. They also began to discover that their behavior is their own. Children take pride in their skills and usually assert their sense of independence or autonomy. The muscular anal stage deals with a child's ability to regulate or control his or her own physical behavior, including the functions associated with toilet training. Erikson notes that control of all the muscles becomes the focus of the child's surplus energy. Not only are children expected to develop control of the muscles that deal with the elimination, but they are also expected to develop some control of impulses in general. According to Erikson, self-control and self-confidence begin to develop at this stage. Children can do more on their own. It is essential for parents not to be overprotective at this age. A parent's level of protectiveness will influence the child's ability to achieve autonomy. According to Woolfolk in 1987, Erikson believes that children who experience too much doubt at this stage will lack confidence in their powers later in life. The most important point about this stage is for the first time, children can exercise some choice and realize their will. They begin to see themselves as a person and want to exercise their choices. If they are restrained too much or punished too harshly by their parents, they are likely to develop a sense of shame and doubt.
Activities during this stage. The child is developing physically and becoming more mobile and discovering that he or she has many skills and abilities, such as putting on clothes and shoes, playing with toys, etc. Such skills illustrate the child's growing sense of independence and autonomy. For example, during this stage, children begin to assert their independence by walking away from their mother, picking which toy to play with, and making choices about what they like to wear, to eat, etc. They develop a sense of independence as well as self-control over bodily functions such as toileting themselves rather than relying on caregivers for everything. Erikson states it is critical that parents allow their children to explore the limits of their abilities within an encouraging environment which is tolerant of failure. For example, rather than put on a child's clothes, a supportive parent should have the patience to allow the child to try until they succeed or ask for assistance. So the parents need to encourage the child to become more independent while at the same time protecting the child so that constant failure is avoided. A toddler's main task is to resolve the issue of autonomy versus shame and doubt by working to establish independence, like they are claiming that this is the me-to-do-it stage. For example, we might observe a budding sense of autonomy in a 2-year-old child who wants to choose her clothes and dress herself. Although outfits might not be appropriate for the situation, her input in such a basic decision has an effect on her sense of independence. A delicate balance is required from the parent. They must try not to do everything for the child, but if the child fails at a particular task, they must not criticize the child for failures and accidents. The aim has to be self-control without a loss of self-esteem. Success in this stage will lead to the virtue of will.
Conflict that arises during this stage. The second stage is muscular anal, and there is a conflict that arises during this stage. This period is also defined by the conflict of autonomy and shame and doubt. Allowing toddlers between the ages of 1 to 3 to explore their surroundings and develop their own interests helps to establish a sense of autonomy. However, Parents who are overly severe or careful with their children, on the other hand, may cause them to mistrust their own skills. This, like learning to distrust rather than trust, and can have long-term effects. Children may develop feelings of shame if their parents do not maintain a soothing, confident attitude and do not reward the children's efforts to master basic motor and cognitive skills. They may start to mistrust their ability to navigate the world on their own terms. Thus, children who have too much doubt at this age will have trouble believing in their own abilities later in life. Children who aren't given the chance to assert themselves within the limits set will battle with feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt, according to Erikson.
Virtues develop during this stage. At this point in development, children can start to exercise little freedom and realize their will. They begin to see themselves as a person and want to exercise their choices. If the child acts independently or if their parents allow them to make their own decisions about what they like, they will grow up to be more self-assured, respectful, and honest people.
Alternatively, parents who discourage their children's efforts, such as laughing, will damage the child's self-esteem and causes them to doubt themselves. It will obstruct their attempts of being independent and believe that they are unable to create their own decisions. In addition, a child with sense of shame would greatly prevent them from acting immorally later in their lives. But excessive shame will make them lose their abilities of being independent and will have difficulties in decision making. Scenario number 1. The child spilled the juice on the floor and into his shirt, in which he was scolded by his mother. At this stage, it is expected that children are still developing their motor skills, and thus, scolding them is inappropriate. Frequently scolding children with things that they are unable to control will eventually lower their self-esteem.
By looking at these two scenarios, we can see the difference between these women and how they reacted when disciplining their children. In the second scenario, it shows the mother didn't scold her child. Instead, she allows her child to make mistakes and she lets her child to solve the problem on their own, which is very helpful for the child to realize that they have the will to do things but within reason and limits. So next time, the child becomes more confident to do the activities.